Hey, okay, so let me just get my settings right. Oh, hello, hello, hello. Okay, start that again. Hello, okay, so today we are with Nate Rhodes, who is a member of the Dog Trainer Academy. Nate, great to have you with us today. Thanks for jumping on the call.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. So Nate has kindly jumped on this call just to share a little bit about his experience of the Dog Trainer Academy with us, with me, with you. Um, and I've asked Nate just to literally share from the heart, share as honestly as he can do about his experience, just so you can get an idea of whether or not maybe the Dog Trainer Academy is the sort of program that you'd be interested in. So Nate, thanks again for jumping on this call. I'll just ask you some questions and you can answer them any way, which way you want to. So
sounds good.
Yeah, so Nate, tell us a little bit about, let's start from very briefly where you've come from, what you're doing before you joined the Dog Trainer Academy and where you are now, and just feel free to flow and tell us as much or as little as you want. And
Sure.
Yeah.
So I was a manager in the automotive industry, and I did that for 15 years before I became a dog trainer. And I made lots of money at it and I was good at it, but I was completely miserable. I didn't enjoy it. It was highly stressful. It was affecting me. It was affecting my marriage. It was affecting everything because of the stress level and the things like that. So I stayed pretty miserable. I was afraid I was going to be stuck in it for the rest of my life. And I had told everybody, including my wife, by the time I was 40 that I wanted to be out of the business. Well, I just turned 40 this past June. So success there.
Well done. That makes me
But
smile. That makes me
yeah,
smile.
yeah. So I really just was miserable, and I wanted to do something that fulfilled me and something I really enjoy. And I get a little emotional talking about it just because it seems like a dream come true to me. And I didn't think it was possible until now, so COVID hit. And when COVID hit, they did away with the place was cutting down because of cutbacks. So they did away with my job title and I got laid off. So when that first happens, you're in full on freak out mode and you're like really worrying about things and all that nature. So I was able to get some unemployment and think about things. And I had some downtime, and the downtime that I had, I just started really going over. I was looking for jobs in the automotive industry, and I was getting some offers back and things of that nature. But the thought of going back made me completely miserable to think of, and literally would upset my stomach. So I talked to my wife and I was like, babe, I really don't want to go back to the automotive industry. I want to do something that fulfills me and makes me happy. And so we talked about what that would be. And so what that would be was a dog trainer, because I've had a love of dogs ever since I was a little boy. I've had a love of dogs. I grew up with a black lab, love of dogs. So we talked about a dog trainer. So I said, yeah, that's a great idea. So we both did some searching and on what methods and who to learn from and so on and so forth. And my wife actually found you. And she's like, well, what about this guy? Why don't you check this out? So I did a little research into it. I looked into it a little bit. I liked the sound of the methods and all of that. So I decided to just dive in, and I decided to take the training. So I hopped on, I did the training. I did it while I was over COVID, why I had time to sit there and do it. And I was so jazzed about it that I banged out all the tests within like 5 months, just because every day I'd get up and I was like 2 hours, 3 hours, just because I was so stoked about it. I had such doubts in my mind though, that I could actually run a business.
Yeah.
Like I had so much doubts that I could run a business because I'd always worked for somebody my entire life. And I also had doubts that I would actually be able to make money at it, let alone get anywhere near what I was making in the automotive industry. So I just started finding out how to put a business together. I also had no idea how to put a business together at all, none. So the cool thing about the DTA though, was that it also talks about that and is helpful with how to get a business up and going, things to do and things of that nature. And that was really cool. So it's not just about how to train the dogs and the methods, it's also about how to have a successful business. And that was really cool. And that was helpful for me. So that kind of got the ball rolling. So from there, I just started doing everything I needed to do to get a business going legally and all that good stuff. got a business going. And I remember my very first consult. Like it was like one of our friends' daughter had a dog and she needed help with it. And so it was my very first consult. I was so nervous. Like I'm talking like crazy nervous. And I told my wife, like, I'm so nervous. I hope I do a good job and all this. So I went out, I did the consult. It went really, really well. And I look back at it now and I wish I had a recording of it, because I'm sure compared to what I do now, it wasn't very good, but they thought it was good. It went well. I was happy with it. They were happy with it. It was the first money I made off of it and stuff. And that started to give me some confidence that like, you know what, maybe you can do this. Maybe like this is going to work out.
Tell me, Nate, was there any trouble actually asking for the money? When you asked for the money,
it felt weird. It did feel a little weird. But
were they happy to hand you the money over?
They were happy to hand me the money.
They didn't.
Absolutely happy. Then they hopped on. There's an app called Nextdoor over here in America, where you can hop on and you can like say, I'm looking for this product or I'm looking for that, or you can recommend people. And next thing I know, they're recommending me on Nextdoor and all that stuff. Yeah. And I was like, this is so cool, brilliant, man. I was like, I guess I did a good job. So
you did a good job. Tell it, how is your business doing now in terms of like, are you doing it full-time, part-time? What's the score with business?
So I'm doing it full-time now. And that was the other concern I had, whether I was going to have a part-time job and try to do this on the side at the same time. And actually, that is not a concern whatsoever. I am booking more and more and more every day. And I'm starting to get to the point to where I'm almost actually feeling a little overwhelmed because I'm so busy right now. And it's just me learning how to book people and like, how to do it all. It's been a learning curve for me, but I'm booked a month and a half out right now.
A month and a half booked out.
A month and a half booked out.
Wow.
And that's not one dog training a day. That's multiple dog trainings a day, a month and a half out.
Wow. And so how long do you work with each dog for, roughly, just to give people an idea?
Say that one more time for me.
So when you go to people's houses, and you work with the people there, how long do you generally work with people for, kind of?
So the first training, the initial training, where I go over the methods, I teach them the methods and answer any questions that they have, because there's always a lot of questions. The first training is usually about 2 to 2.5 hours. Sometimes it goes to 3 hours, but it's generally 2 to 2.5 hours, the first training.
Yeah, works well. And then you visit another couple of times or something, do you?
Yep. So I sell a 2 training package, and everybody generally buys the 2 training package. That's the other thing. I went away from an hourly rate and I was packaged, and I was so nervous about it. And the next thing I know, people are just snapping up the 2 training package like it's no big deal. So it's like, well, this is cool. So can
you tell us a little bit about the money side of things? Would you be happy to talk about?
Absolutely.
So the two training package, what do you charge for the 2 training package?
So for a 1 dog, the 2 training package is $325. For 2 dogs, the 2 training package is $375. I'm probably going to raise that again here in about a month or 2, because I've had 0 issues selling that package at that price. And from what I understand, people are charging a lot more than that. So I'm letting that flow for about a month or 2, and then it's going to get up again. So, but right now it's $325, 2 training package for 1 dog, $375, 2 training package for 2 dogs.
And how many? And so you say you're doing multiple a day. You do a couple of those a day, do you?
Yeah. So I travel an hour in any direction. So I do a lot of driving. So I can only really fit in 2 trainings a day.
Yeah.
But in those 2 trainings a day, I mean, they pay me the $325 up front. So I come home with $650 in the day after the 2 trainings.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. And you do that for sort of 4 or 5 days a week, do you?
I'm actually doing it 6 days a week right now. The only day I'm taking off currently is Sundays. And even on Sundays, I'm like so stoked about my business right now. And I've got to learn to reel that back a little bit, because even on Sundays, I'm like booking people. I don't do trainings on Sundays, but I'm still booking people and calling people. So right now I'm doing it Monday through Saturday though. So just to clarify, I'm smiling because you remind me of me, when I started quite a while back now. I was like, I just had so much business. I didn't want to push my prices up because I was loving the dogs. It's all about the dogs, but there's also this kind of, at that price, I was just the best dog trainer in town, and price wise, and I've raised my prices. I've raised my prices twice. Actually, 3 times. And let me guess, nobody blinked. Nobody blinked. Nobody blinked. Not one person blinked. It didn't make any difference. I know. It's the more, So you're you're doing it 6 days a week, $600. So correct me if I'm wrong here. So maths,
you're earning about 3,600. 600 times 6 is 3,600 roughly a week.
So actually, well, it depends. So this month, I'm probably trending towards about $5,000 for the month. This month, last month, I was real close to $4,000 for the month.
For the month?
And yeah, for the month.
Yeah.
And it just really depends upon, I mean, right now it's so busy with dog training that you really can schedule as much as you would like. If you want to make some extra money, then you can book yourself up for every day with 2 trainings every other day. If you want to reel it back a little bit and not wear yourself out, and you can reel it back a little bit. And that's the nice thing right now, because the business is there. So you can kind of choose, hey, I want to make a little extra money, so let me book some more people, you know?
So let me get this right. So you earn about, you say you come home with about $600 per day, is that right?
If I do 2 trainings, I don't always do 2 trainings every day.
Okay. And so,
if I do
so at the end of the week, what do you roughly make at the end of the week then?
So this past week, I'll use this past week as an example.
Yeah, perfect.
I made almost $1,400, about like 1,375 for the week.
Beautiful. Yeah, and so you basically you can pay the program back.
Yeah, I think I've already handled that and plenty more so far. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's great. And in terms of where your emotions and how you feel about going to work and doing this sort of thing compared to the automotive industry, how does it feel? You know, you in terms of fulfillment and enjoyment, that sort of stuff.
I am so happy. Like it feels so good to be doing something that I love and that fulfills me. And the beauty of the methods that we use, that your methods, is that the fact, and this is what I always tell my clients too, these methods are not only helping the people, it helps the dog as well, because we alleviate that stress of being the pack leader that the dog thinks that they have to have, and we alleviate that stress off them, and you've got a much more calmer and relaxed dog. And so that's what I tell my clients too. And that's the beauty of it, is I want to help the dogs too, not just the people. And it does both. And that's what's cool.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. It's almost like the poor children who think they're in charge of the household and they're stressed because all they want is parents who kind of say, hey, I got this. You can relax, be little kids.
Yep.
Yeah. Perfect. And in terms of the key reservations you had, you've mentioned you're worried about whether you'd be able to do this, I think you said, before you became a dog trainer, and whether you could run your own business and whether you could make money off it. Is that the 3 big reservations you had, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest ones was whether I could run my own business successfully and know what I was doing. And then the second one was whether I would be able to make enough money to pull my end of the bargain in my marriage, you know, and those were my 2 biggest ones, was money wise and being able to run it. And right now, both of that is running pretty smooth.
Yeah. Awesome. So for those people who are kind of thinking about joining the DTA or want to become dog trainers, either part-time or full-time, what would you honestly say should be, or what would you recommend to them regarding the DTA?
So the first thing is you got to really have a passion for it and love it. And I think if you're already taking the steps to become a dog trainer and join the DTA, then you kind of had checked that box already by going that far. So if you have the passion and the drive and love for it, the rest kind of takes care of itself. Because once you figure out the business side of it, which if you just do some research, you can figure out pretty quick, make some phone calls, do some research, you can figure that out pretty quick. And then once you actually just start committing to getting yourself out there and making some bookings, book some consults and things of that nature, you'll just kind of start taking off from there. And what I found is that avenues opened up for me to help me get myself out there without me really even trying, which was beautiful. And I don't think that's just because it's me. I think that just happens sometimes organically to people when they feel really happy and motivated and like really proud of what they're doing. And you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I would say if that's your concerns with the money aspect and running the business, you can absolutely do it. If I can do it, you can do it.
I love it. And you were saying before, very approximately, you think this month maybe $6,000 a month is what you could earn if you.
Yeah, I think this month it's probably going to be between $5,000 and $6,000 for the month. That's where I'm trending that way, and that's where I think it's going to end up. Yeah.
Yeah, and you got the opportunity to push your prices up, you reckon?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Like I said, probably we're in August right now, so probably come October, it's gonna go up a little bit again.
Yeah, I remember when I was starting off many, many years ago, and I kind of thought about pushing my prices up, and it was such a big thing. I changed the number on my website. I put another $50 on or something, and I was
I
thinking the
know.
phone's not going to ring, or people are going to start asking why. It's
Yep. Well,
nothing,
and what
nothing.
happened
And
is
I think I
when
did it
one
the
or two
same thing the
people,
next week again. I did it again and again. I was like,
yeah,
nothing's happening.
yep, yep, absolutely. And when a couple of people kind of like scoff at the price a little bit, you're like, oh man, well maybe I shouldn't raise this. But then for every one person that scoffs at it, 5 more people book with you. So you book with you on that price. So you're like, wait a minute.
Well, I used to have a few people say to me after the concert, they would actually say to me, you know, Dan, you should really charge a lot more for this.
I've been hearing that. And that's another reason why I'm going to raise it again. They're like, man, you know, that's a really reasonable rate. I down such and such down the road that I was just with was charging $2,000 more. And I'm like,
Yeah. And they often say, and they didn't have anything near the results that you got. You know that?
Exactly.
They say they're paying twice as much, not getting any results.
Yep.
And you kind of
and
go,
so
well,
that's the other thing too, like reviews. I have so many reviews now. That was the other thing I was worried about was reviews. People are eating up this method and the training, and they're more than happy to it's you get nervous asking for reviews, but once you get over that initial getting nervous asking for reviews,
yeah,
then you start getting some reviews, then it starts to be like, okay, maybe I don't need to feel so nervous about this. I'll just put it in at the end when I'm saying bye, like, hey, if you after a few days, if you're happy with my training and it's working out for you, if you wouldn't mind just leaving me a review, they mean so much to me. That's how I get rehired and hired is off those reviews.
Yeah.
And people are like, sure, I'll do that for you. And the next thing you know, you've got 20 reviews. So
yeah, and they're all
yeah.
5-star.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's awesome, Nate. So I'm just thinking, if anybody wants to get in touch with you, Nate, what's your website?
So it's www.bestfriendsinbalance.com. That is the name of my company, Best Friends in Balance.
And whereabouts are you situated in the US?
So I'm in Northern California in Sonoma County.
Northern California, Sonoma County. And one thing I never asked you is, how long have you been doing this for?
So my business, it'll be a year in October since my business officially started from the ground up. So it'll be 1 year. I did the DTA. It's probably going on 15 to 16 months, somewhere in that vicinity since I first started the DTA, somewhere in that vicinity. So it's been roughly a year and a half from start of the whole thinking process of getting into it to where I am now.
Wow. So a year and a half and you're flying, and you hadn't trained dogs beforehand, just to get that clear.
No, I had never trained dogs before. No, I'd always wanted to. It was always a dream of mine, but I'd never done it.
Yeah. Live your dream. Well done,
Yep.
Nate. I'm pleased for you. And so funny because so much of what you're saying, I'm smiling because I remember it's exactly the same story. I kind of had all the same fears about, could I make money? Would I be able to pay my half of the share? Would my wife have to support me? And it become
Right.
like and would I be able to, if I wanted to step into it full time? Because I started off part-time as well. And so much of what you said, it rings true about the fear of asking for reviews and putting my prices up. And
which, by the way, my wife is so proud of me. That's the other thing. Like, she's so proud of me and she brags about me because she sees how successful I am in it. So I've given her all the confidence in the world as well. She doesn't have to worry about it. She knows that, hey, he's doing his thing and like he's doing it really well. And I'm proud of him for it. So.
And you're happy. That's the other thing.
Super happy. I mean, so happy. I just can't even express it to you. Really, I can't.
No, I know the feeling of waking up in the morning and not really wanting to open my eyes because I could already remember what was coming. And then the difference between that and jumping out of bed because you know you're going to help people, going to help dogs, going to make a difference to people's lives.
When I would go to bed on Sunday, I went to bed every Sunday with a dread in the automotive industry, the dread of Monday morning. All that is completely gone. I wake up on Monday morning with a big grin on my face now.
I hear you. And that's the thing. It's not about the money, It's more than making the money, but the money's beautiful.
Yes.
But it's actually,
to me, that's the extra added bonus. I mean, the joy of doing what I've always wanted to do and helping dogs and doing something that is giving back. And then I can make good money at it on top of it. I mean, I'm like, dude, this is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. Hey, Nate, it's been so good chatting. It's really put a smile on my face, and appreciate you taking the time out. I know you're a busy man with all the dogs. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Thanks, mate. Have a great day. And I'll see you around inside the Dog Trainer Academy.
You as well.
Take care, mate. Bye.
All right.